423 Communities International comes from Proverbs 4:23, which is guard your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life. And we believe that this is a heart issue. Our purpose is to shine the light of the gospel of sexual sobriety in every dark corner of the globe. And today, with the advent of the internet, pornography has become the 3 A's. It's affordable, accessible, and anonymous. It's created a perfect storm or a pandemic of pornography use by kids and adults, all ages, and it's all under the radar. Nobody really talks about it unless they're doing so in a derogatory fashion or they're making fun of it. But in the secrecy, privacy of people's lives, they're using. In fact, 1.5 billion people are using porn on a regular basis. That's 20% of our population, and a third of those are women, the research tells us. So this is a big deal, and our program is designed to provide a unique recovery methodology for men and women and young people who want to get better and stop using this addictive activity. So our program is designed to bring men together, women together in gender-specific groups under the umbrella of the local church. We operate this ministry exclusively by invitation of local churches. Jesus said, I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. So we're on the offensive. We're knocking down the gates of hell, and we're doing this one recovery group at a time, one addictive person at a time. We're not out there with legislation to try to stop pornography or picketing strip clubs. There's nothing wrong with those political activities, but that's not what we do. What we do is zero in on the hearts of men and women and young people who are addicted to porn and give them some redemption, some hope, some possibilities that they can actually overcome this and get better. We've had about 1,500 people or more actively in the program, and all of them have seen some level of progressive sexual recovery. 423 Men began in about 2009 at a local church called Solid Rock. It was a big church. We had thousands of people coming to the church, and the pastoral staff knew of my background in sexual recovery ministry, asked if I'd be willing to help, and I said sure. We quickly started with 20 guys, and the groups grew, and these groups are designed to help give guys a sense of comfort and privacy in a confidential and safe environment so they can talk and be real, transparent, authentic about their real issues. Not only the sin of sexual addictive behaviors, but also the underlying reasons for their behaviors. Somewhere around 2014, we launched 423 Women because it became increasingly evident to us that women struggle with pornography as well. We have had active groups of women. Probably a couple hundred women have been through this program in the last 6 years since its inception. The program is designed exactly like 423 Men. We have 2-hour meetings that begin with prayer. We go through the roster, we read the guidelines, and then the ladies or the men in gender-specific groups talk about their sexual sobriety standard, whatever that is. It might be something like, I'm not going to use pornography. I'm going to stop masturbating to fantasies, sexual fantasies in my head. I'm going to stop having sex with women. We have a fair number of men and women who deal with same-sex attraction. And I'm going to stop these one-night stands that are homosexual in nature. That will be their sobriety standard. Now they'll come some weeks, they'll have fallen below their sobriety line. Again, in gender-specific groups, women or men. These brothers or sisters will speak to themselves and share whether they were above or below their line. If they fell below their line, they'll try to answer the question, why? Why did I do it? And this is what we call the sharing of weeks. We share our week, how we did, and if we did fall below our standard, there's no shame, no judgment, no condemnation at all. It's a shame-free environment. But we do have to honestly answer the question, why did you fall below? And don't say it's because you like sex. Everybody likes sex. It's a gift. It's his gift in the right context called marriage. Well, if we're using sex outside of that context, we know no person of integrity would do that unless there was an addictive component. And there is an addictive component. It's a way of medicating our pain. So that's 423 Men and 423 Women. They operate exactly the same. The second hour of every meeting, we usually use a curriculum of some kind, and then we huddle up for prayer and say goodnight and try to stay in touch with our brothers or sisters throughout the week to encourage ourselves until the next meeting. Then, somewhere around the fall of 2019, we launched a brand new program. And that program is called 423 Sisters. So we have 423 men and 423 women for men and women who struggle with addictive sexual behavior patterns. And now we've launched 423 Sisters. And this has the promise of great momentum moving forward, because it occurred to us, and of course, logic would say this is obviously so, that many of the wives of our men in the program struggle from a level of trauma which was produced by their significant male husband, fiance, boyfriend's sexual insobriety. And the trauma is profound. It's not about these women. These guys cannot claim that it's their fault or that there was anything about their wives or fiancés or girlfriends that led them to this behavior pattern. It's completely their own problem. But we know that it's a family systems issue and that there is an effect on loved ones. So the wife who deals with this knowledge that her husband is sexually unfaithful, she can feel betrayed, and the trauma of that betrayal is profound. So we have some amazing women who've walked through this journey and found healing together in community. And these women are leading the charge of 423 Sisters. It's a powerful group of ladies who operate almost exactly the way that 423 men and 423 women operate. They come together, they go over the roster, they pray, they open the group, and they read the guidelines. Then they talk about, instead of a sexual sobriety line, they have what's called an emotional health line. And it might sound something like this. I'm not going to bring up the divorce word every time I hear my husband is struggling. I'm not going to react emotionally. I'm going to attempt to provide a level of support which is reasonable, and to distance myself not from him, but from the sin, and get the support I need from other women who are in the same battle with me to deal with the trauma that has been caused by this horrendous sense of betrayal I feel. So that program has been quite effective, and we're seeing healing and restoration of marriages, and men and women beginning to understand each other and speak the same language and find a common support. We also have 423 young men, and eventually 423 young women is on the horizon. But for now, we have guys who are minors under the age of 18 who struggle with this. And we know this problem starts in the prepubescent time period of somewhere around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. In fact, 10 is the common age for kids to start. And because of the internet and the accessibility and affordability and anonymity of pornography on the smartphones, and most of these kids have smartphones, they get hooked early on. And maybe they struggle with conflicts at school, or arguments with their parents, or not getting along with their sister, or feeling bad because they weren't selected for a baseball team, or getting poor grades in school. All of these things are very real problems for adolescents. So they struggle. And porn becomes an exciting new opportunity. It flat works to take away the pain of their adolescent issues, at least temporarily. Now they know something's wrong, or if there wasn't something wrong, they would be glad to talk about it to people like their parents, but they can't. They cannot talk about this. It's private. Oh, they might hee-haw about some piece of pornography they found on the internet with their buddies, but when they're alone, they're using. They're learning to identify with this pornographic image or these videos or this erotic material. That this is what sex is, and it's not. It's the lie. But they form neural pathways in their brains, and over the course of years, decades, they have become addicted. It's insidious. And then they get married. They think, oh, I'll get married and I'll have all the free sex I want whenever I want. I'll never have this problem again. But it doesn't work that way. They enter into a real human relationship with a woman, and nothing changes. They have an argument with their wife, they go right back to porn. It's a tragic cycle that has to be broken, and it cannot be broken alone. They have to come into community. Sometimes the wife will catch the husband using porn, and she'll force him into 423. You've got to go get some help. And he will come and find the help he needs. And she may even find the help she needs in 423 Sisters to forgive and to move forward and to find restoration and the hope for redemption. But that can only work if the husband is honest. But these kids get into the program, and we have another group called 423 Parents. And 423 Parents works with 423 young men. These are the parents of the young men in the program. And if you want your young guy in the program, we have to have you as a parent also in a program together with other parents whose boys are in 423 Young Men. And you're going through the same material as your boys, and you're learning some of the same principles of redemption and restoration, and how to deal with this in an environment that's safe and supportive. So those are the 5 programs we have: 423 Men, 423 Women, 423 Sisters, 423 Young Men, and 423 Parents. And by the way, in working with young men, these are minors. So we have a whole, our program is a recovery program of excellence, we believe. And we know that when working with minors, there's all kinds of potential for liability. And so we have very strong rules in place that our board of directors has imposed to protect the leaders, protect the parents, the churches, our host churches, and protect the kids from any form of inappropriate discussions or activities. All of our leaders are background checked, and we have standards that we expect them to comply with, and they're all trained, and we expect this ministry to move forward, and we're looking for great things ahead.